If you guys want to be like in the chat with like everybody, you got to go to Twitch.
Yeah, if you want to be part of the collective.
The collective.
Exactly.
I'm actually,
if you want to be one of us.
I'm unironically on the human superorganism. Like that's a real thing that I think needs to happen someday.
I would prefer if you didn't turn me into Orange Fanta a la Neon Genesis Evangelion. Despite the fact that Nick Fuentes pretends that he hasn't watched it after having a stream where he glazes it.
It's so
pathetic.
Good for me. That too, but like watching, I was thinking like, okay, in a world where people believe in, you know, like punishments for people's actions, I cannot think of a better punishment for Nick Fuentes than being forced to live with just his wretched audience he's cultivated being so toxic and trapped in the role he's made for himself.
Especially considering that, like, we know for a fact now that the person that he was at the beginning of this journey is a very different person, at least the person that he portrayed. Because the persona he cultivated for himself seems to have become faker and faker and faker.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. I think that the splitting with Trump has... It's because everything has to be so vitriolic and hateful coming from those little nerds, but I think it's also revealed to a larger contingent that, oh, they don't actually believe in anything but like being mean and brutal. Yeah. Like they are the same things that everybody fretted about SJWs being, where it's just like, oh, you're always going to find a thing to complain about. They are that, but just little online Nazis.
And you know what the worst part about it is, or maybe even the best part about it, because it's worse, but like it's not happening to me, so it's happening to the best person it could happen to. Everybody here has seen We're Back, right?
No.
The dinosaur story?
The dinosaur story.
No, but I am familiar with it vaguely.
Okay. Does anybody know the scene where Screw Eyes, like the final death scene for Screw Eyes?
You're naming characters. You're already off my.
Okay. So, damn it, I have to do plot synopsis now for this to make sense. Okay. There are two. So in We're Back, there are two brothers. One is an inventor. One is the owner of a circus. The owner of the circus is Screw Eyes. He loves fear. That is his thing. His circus is a circus of fear. He wants to make things scary for people. It is just what he loves. And then the inventor, he wants to make people smarter and more intelligent. He's like made medications that make dinosaurs like turn superhumanly smart and shit. There's your dichotomy between the brothers. Near the end of the movie, when Screw Eyes is defeated, basically, they've reasoned with all of the people that he is like duped into thinking that they always want to be afraid and shit. The people he's fear-mongered, they've reasoned with those people and they've gotten them away from him. The only thing he's left with is an army of crows that he was using to keep people afraid. It was just part of his shtick. As everybody is leaving him, he just goes, no, please. When there's no one else to scare, I find myself getting very afraid too. And the crows descend on him and peck his body to nothing.
Good Lord.
And he gets eaten by his own crows. That's Fuentes to me. That's what he is to me at this point. A person who has cultivated an audience and created a set of tools that the minute that all of that influence is stripped away from him will do nothing but fucking consume him.
Well, that's how it always goes, right? I mean, if you think about it, like that's kind of how... I don't know if that's exactly how Hitler went.
I mean, Charlie Kirk lost the gun debate.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly how Charlie Kirk went. That's a perfect comparison. And like, it's true. Like, he was people get mad at me when I say this. He was the instrument of his own death in many ways. Like, it's not like people misunderstand me. I'm not saying that he wanted things like that to happen or that he was openly advocating for people to go and commit assassinations like this. No, what I'm saying is, without even realizing, he was contributing to a culture of gun violence and then and directly saying it is a necessary like these people, you know, some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You know, like, we need to keep our Second Amendment rights, and in order to do that, we need to have some sacrifices so that I can keep my guns. He just didn't think that he would be one of the sacrifices.
Do you want to have like a formal start for this collab now before we like dive into it? Because we didn't do like an introductory round.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody knows.
Welcome to the stream. My name is Suris. I'm not the guy who started this. That was Alec. I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm going to let him do it now anyway. Boom. We're on the rails.
It's fine. We all did this together, right? So it's all good if you want to start.
I'm
Alec Gunter. I'm Alec Gunter. I pulled Dead Domain and NekoSuris into a group chat to discuss going to a game show, which did not end up panning out because that guy just never got back to me. We submitted videos and everything, and they were going to fly us out for free to California.
I think that might have been a honeypot. Just saying.
Maybe, but if he was like... We were all on board. We're like, okay, if he sends the receipts and he pays for all of it, then what's the harm, right?
Could you imagine? Though honestly, if it turned out to be a honeypot and they were like, "Ooh, we're gonna get you," could you imagine a worse group of people to do it to than a bunch of like autistic leftist documentarians and independent journalists?
Yeah,
right.
I don't
like
know.
I'm keeping I'm gonna turn that into content. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I saw his channel. He was like is, I should say, like a Mr. Beast type. It just seems like he's kind of made of money, and he's got a small upstart YouTube channel, and he's just trying to throw people together like a salad and just see what comes out. So I kind of sort of trusted it, but he never got back to me, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're all familiar with Nyara, of course, and it's funny because she's more or less kind of like the glue that kind of pulled this group back together again, because I think me and The Domain and Suris have all made videos about Nyara, and Nyara's back and forth with Asmongold, and I think he got retweeted by Elon Musk even, right? Kind of crazy.
No, J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, I mean, just as famous.
Same thing. They're the same fucking
thing. Same thing. Yeah, basically.
The same person, different mask, right?
They both have way too much money. They both fund bad political movements, and they both sell you a fantasy world, hoping that you'll buy it long enough to think that the world isn't as fucked up by them as it is.
The mold queen and the ketamine king.
Like I'm actually not sure, but I would be surprised if Elon Musk didn't like see tweets of me, because he does follow Asmongold, and he keeps boosting a lot of things that like Asmongold posts.
That's a weird feeling, right? Like it's weird to think about. There's a non-zero chance that JD Vance has seen my tweets because I have been retweeted by Matt Walsh.
Can I say something?
It's just
I was just gonna say Matt Walsh has seen your shit.
Can I say something that's kind of scary? So like 7 months ago, the narrative had been, and I think we all remember this, that if Donald Trump lost power, JD Vance wouldn't be able to grab the reins very well because he was just distinctly unpopular, both within the party and with like the voter base. Has anybody seen the interview that recently happened in Tennessee, the group interview with a bunch of like, it's random conservatives technically, but like it ended up being a handful of Nick Fuentes fans and a few others.
No.
So
no. If not.
Okay. So there's a few people who've done videos on this. My video on it should be coming out in a couple days. I know Vosh did a video on it, and Cavernacle did a video on it. I haven't seen Cavs, and I've only seen like 2 minutes of Vosh's because I went, oh, that's something I want to cover. Click away. I don't want to fucking repeat your shit.
Yep.
This is now a me project. I'll watch yours later. Yep. So there's a series of questions that are asked during the interview, as with all interviews, and one of the questions is, for 2028, with who are you going to be voting for? One or two of the answers were, I'm voting for Trump again. If FDR can get 4 terms, Trump can get 3. And then, with very little deviation, JD Vance, and Nick Fuentes. There was one guy named Andrew who's just a ride or die Nick Fuentes fan who's like traveled to go see him and everything. Like that dude wants like fucking Catboy dick for breakfast. That's what he needs in his life. The other ones were all just like, yeah, JD Vance. We want JD Vance. And I was flabbergasted because, again, several months ago, the narrative had been that would not work. If you wrestled the presidency away from Trump and you left it with JD Vance, he would not be able to make the same kind of headway that Trump
I think
made.
a lot of it is literally because like Charlie Kirk died and he kind of went into like the spotlight with like Turning Point USA and became one of those like podcast bros, and is also like on a Christian nationalist kind of spree.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. That sounds like a reasonable way those events could be read, and I don't have a counter to that.
It's like, I mean, he's also like openly shit talking his Indian wife, and I think maybe that's also why these white supremacists are kind of like, oh, he's just as racist as we are.
Mr. Malachite says, why the fuck does our vice president have a podcast now? So this is a 10 to 15 year problem that has just come to the surface for a lot of people, but it's something that the left as a general group, and this includes Democrats for the purpose of this conversation. I know that like in terms of political Overton windows, the left and Democrats are not the same thing. Not my point here. But the American left has failed the media game. Period. That is something that, as a group, we have failed to do.
The closest we've gotten is Gavin Newsom's podcast, and that is not good.
No.
Like not only is that not representative of like actual progressive left values, he's just a dud. Like he's so smarmy. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be him so bad, and you can just smell it.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Have y'all seen the Michael Knowles interview with the groiper who says that Gavin Newsom mogs?
No, I have not.
Oh,
that is a combination of words that fascinate me and terrify me.
Okay, so the psycho, the kick streamer who ran over a dude, clavicular or whatever. Michael Knowles got him on a podcast to sit down and ask him, like it has the tenor. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but it has very much the tenor of like a older conservative trying to guide this young buck who's lost his way. Meanwhile, it is this barely sapient mouth breather talking about mogging and looks maxing, and it's fun. It's a good time, funny. I'll say.
Looks maxing is a man. Do y'all remember when trans maxing went viral for like a day?
No.
You guys.
How do I trans max?
What is trans maxing?
Exactly. Okay, so
what is trans maxing, and how do I do it?
How do I do it?
Trans maxing
as a cis person, how do I trans max?
Okay, so it is a thing from the incel community that basically said, hey, if you're failing so hard as a man, if you cannot get laid, if you cannot do these things, consider trans maxing. You will find bisexual women, and if you are bisexual yourself, your chances of finding a partner go up. If you're like a useless a useless NEET and you can't like do things for yourself, that's more socially acceptable for women to do. So transition to woman, transmax to make your life better. That's what the fucking thing was.
If that's what it takes to crack your egg, that's fine, in my opinion. I will say though, like as far as dating goes, you're going about it the wrong way. Because like, if you want to date a nice hot girl or whatever, or whoever you want to date, like, I'm not saying you can date specifically whoever you want, but you will have people flock to you if you are just like a dumb goofball who kind of goes with the flow. Like, it don't matter what you look like. It don't matter. Like obviously looking like you take care of yourself helps, but like really it's more about being confident, one, and two, being a little goofy with it. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, you're not a product you're trying to sell somebody. You're just a fucking person. Just act like it.
Authenticity. Yeah, authenticity.
just dismiss everything. If you're struggling finding a girlfriend, just become the girlfriend and date one of the homies.
Yo, so I'm just gonna
problem solved.
I'm just gonna throw this. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I think everybody will agree. Actually, I think the only person here who really has a lot of extended experience with card shops would be Dead Domain. But all right, we've had the complaints in nerd spaces for years that they're not very welcoming to women, and that card shops are just a terrible place for people who cannot find a partner, because if they're spending all their time there, they're not going to find a partner there. Solution: there is an odd phenomenon in the Magic the Gathering community where it just attracts trans women. I do not know what it is, but something about trans women and Magic the Gathering go together to the point where Shivam Bat, who used to be on the CAG, which is a big rules committee that used to exist for Magic the Gathering, I was on his channel, and there was I remember the conversation had about trans women and Magic even there, and I'm just saying, nope, this stereotype is everywhere now. Just make it so that anybody who wants to transition can, and it will be that much easier for lonely Magic nerds to find girlfriends.
There you go.
Oh yeah, no, like it's so funny that it is everywhere, to the point that even like one of the biggest Magic shows on YouTube from Tolarian Community College, Shuffle Up and Play, like you can't throw a rock without hitting a Shuffle Up and Play episode that has one trans person in it.
Also, Niall, who used to do a lot of the writing for Prof, also trans woman, right? I believe.
Oh yeah,
I
believe so. Yeah.
That's crazy. We should write. Somebody should write a story where two dudes are living together and they're both like, "Oh God, we can't get no chicks, dude. We can't get chicks." And then like they're like, "What about transmaxing?" And then they both try to transmax, and then they both fall in love with each other.
Pretty sure I've read that hentai.
All three of us are like, "Oh yeah, no, I've got. I actually got a website that you should check out."
Oh no, I'm the Internet
browser.
Explorer. I'm the Internet Explorer of the group.
Before I came out, I joked about like, oh, we could date if I were a woman. So I wouldn't be surprised if a story like this exists and both just become like lesbians.
Awesome.
So
you know,
to move now that the conversation has very, very lightly moved to porn.
Okay, now it's my time, guys.
So I want to explain something that's weird. So everybody here knows what demisexual is, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that everybody...
Yes.
Okay. Every now and again...
My wife is some flavor of that.
Okay. So, have you had the experience where, like, even when watching porn, you have to get invested in the characters of the story for you to even feel anything? Because that's a problem that I've had. More
the older I get.
I wanted to see if that was a consistent thing. So... There was a story that I read. I don't have the link for this anymore because I know it's always going to be somebody who fucking asks for the link. Like, source? Give me the source for the hentai.
Sauce?
We're like, this.
I have a meme for that. It's like the two guys shaking hands. One's a debate bro, the other's a gooner, and they're both like, source?
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 But the story went that there's this a guy who was in his college class, and there was a girl that he had a crush on, your standard anime trope, and he finally decided he wanted to announce to her in your standard anime way, "I like you, I want to date you." And the girl was intersex, and she got really awkward about it because she knew that there'd be a chance that he would be awkward about that. And the funniest fucking panel is when she takes off her pants to show her thing, and he just goes, "Why are you embarrassed about that? Mine's bigger." I'm just like, yeah, that cuts through the tension.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Cut through the tension like a hot knife. Very nice. That's pretty smooth.
The thing is, for me, contrary to popular narrative, I don't actually consume a lot of goon stuff. I occasionally see it because I follow VTubers on Twitter.
Yeah, but, it just happens.
In general, I like the only thing that I like to consume is ASMR roleplay, stories, just imaginative type of things and scenarios. But seeing actual footage Like in movies, it always made me like kind of uncomfortable. But maybe it can also be like dysphoria to some extent. But like,
who knows?
We do a bit of BB no money thirsting. Yeah, I mean that's a given. That's just being a normal human being.
Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Blitzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.